that half-back combination in the second half, I mean, Greg and Hokey, I mean, it must be like a dream come true to have those two there.
But they showed in the short period of time they were on, they're both established, proven, international quality players, and I think there's a whole lot of elements to allow half-backs to play, but I think we got a lot of things more. We did things better in the second half than we did a little bit in the first half. So, I think everybody benefited, and I think you saw a little bit of momentum coming into our game, a little bit of shape coming into our game. So, yeah, happy with the way the first game went.
It's not a kind of perfect pre-season game in terms of 10 tries, but still plenty to work on.
Well, we knew there was going to be a huge amount of work on it. Yeah, the tries were a bonus today. We went into the game with some very clear measures that we wanted to get right today, and regardless of the outcome in terms of the scoreboard, regardless of the number of tries, if we got certain key points right, we'd have been happy, and then building into the next two games before we reached Northampton.
And how much do you think is going to need to pick up ahead of Munster next week?
I'm not even sure that I would say that things need to pick up. We need to develop our game every week. We will hopefully add a little bit, another layer onto it. But Laurie, the coaches have a very clear way how we want to play, and the challenge is to how quickly we can implement that over the next 2 weeks. So hopefully next week again there'll be elements of today's game that we'll do better. There may well be elements of today's game that we don't do quite as well, but Munster is clearly a step up, one of the top teams in Europe. So yeah, that'll give us another marker as to where we are.
It's interesting in the second half to see you had Hook and Laidlaw on, Laidlaw taking the kicks. What's the kind of thought behind that decision?
Yeah, we left it up to them during the week.
Yeah.
The two of them, Billy Burns, Billy 12, who's been kicking, Rob Cook's been kicking, Steve McCall also go kick. So all of a sudden there's an abundance of riches there. Listen, it's really going to be a case of we can go into the first game with whoever's kicking the best, and again over the next 3 weeks they will all get opportunities to kick in a game situation.
Is that something you're going to share it around through pre-season and then look at percentages and training afterwards? Or?
They're experienced international players. Part of it is they'll work it today. They worked out themselves who was going to kick, and I think over the course, depending on who's kicking well, by the end of pre-season we'll have a pretty clear view on who we want to start the season.
And how pleasing was it with some of the younger guys, the lesser known kind of signings in the summer, who kind of really stood up, and looking at guys like Henry Purdy and Atkinson, who really kind of came into things in the second half?
Yeah, there were lots of good individual performances. Lots of players will be pleased. I think they showed display to the King's home crowd what they're capable of doing. I think some of Mark Atkinson's passes and flicks absolutely sensational. But as you said, a lot of the young guys, Henry Purdy, Ross Moriarty, did very well. But pre-season again, we will review the game very closely. We'll review all the individual performances, and it's just trying to improve everybody a little bit in the build up to Northampton.
Gary mentioned the scrum at the beginning. Is that much of a concern?
No, it's not a concern at all. I think it was disappointing today that some of the things that we worked on didn't perhaps come through in the game. But as you said, pre-season's about finding out the areas that we need to concentrate on going into the next few games. There'll be change. We again have a huge amount of depth around our front row players, and over the course of the next 3 weeks they'll all get game time, and I have absolutely no doubt that they will continue to improve through that period.
Will we see the likes of Hibbard and the England boys coming for Munster?
That's part of the plan over pre-season, is to try and balance the needs of players to get game time against the needs of players to be playing next April, May time. So there's no doubt that players will get some game time over the next 2 weeks. It'd be a pretty big ask to go into Northampton without a game under your belt. So again, we've always planned to bring them back slowly and make sure they're in the best shape to allow them to play.
Johnny May hasn't been training, has he? What's the situation with him at the moment?
Yeah, Johnny's had a little bit of a foot injury throughout the course of the summer. It has got better. He trained again last week, and hopefully that progression will continue, and we'll see him playing for Gloucester the weekend.
Are there any other knocks apart from the long-term injuries?
No, we picked nothing up again today, so that was, as I said earlier, one of the huge positives from the game today. Getting players game time without picking up the injuries that inevitably will come was a good outcome for us.
Because it's only really Gareth Evans probably in that first team spots out at the moment on a long-term basis. Yeah,
Gareth has been his rehab been going very well, and he's still on course for return as per schedule.